Hello and welcome to Pint Time with Backpacker Mike. That's right, episode 322. Man, I've been doing this a long time. Anyway, today is 8 ultimate trackside brewery stops right here in the good old United States. So, welcome back to Pint Time. Grab a pour, pop a cap, and pull up the bar stool because tonight or today we are breaking the mold. We're breaking the mold with a bit of travel here. So, look, we've been there. You want to plan an epic cross-country craft beer road trip, but then you look at the reality. The insane car rental fees, the cost of gas. Hold on. Oh, good seeing it. You send the on the stream now. Sorry, I got a message from Yoshi and from Ed. So, waiting for them to jump on. They said they were going to jump on. Anyway, so we've all seen it. You know, we all see the car rental prices, the gas prices, make your eyes water, the traffic jams, etc. Right? So, how are we going to get around to that? Because today we're throwing away the car keys and we are hitting the open tracks. That's right. Oh, yes, that is the sound of freedom, friends. And speaking of freedom, happy 250th birthday to the United States. Yesterday, the ultimate U.S. trackside beer trail. So tonight we're talking about the ultimate U.S. trackside beer trail, I should say, where we are going to ride the Amtrak rail to destinations where you can reach a brewery straight from the platform. Pretty quickly, I might add. So I'm mapping out an unbelievable route across America that hits 8 legendary craft brewery hubs around the United States. And the golden rule of this trip is if the brewery is more than 10 or 15 minute walk from the platform, I'm not covering it today. We ain't doing it. So we're stepping right off the platform and right up to the bar today. That's right. That's what we need today because I've had a hell of a day today. So, and we're doing the whole thing on a backpacker budget. The best we can get here in the United States anyway. Listen closely because this is the ultimate backpacker hack that the luxury travel blogs will not tell you about. And we're completely skipping those $400 a night special stay cabins on Amtrak private sleeper rooms. And instead we are using the Amtrak coach hack. An Amtrak coach seat is actually not like a cramped airline seat or anything like that. These things are massive. They recline very deeply back for you. They fold. They have a fold-out leg rest as well and tons of leg room. You basically throw a cheap travel pillow around your neck and sleep like a baby. Stretch out and sleep like a baby for a quarter of the price. Even better, we are hacking the system by leveraging the Amtrak US Rail Pass. For $499, you get 10 distinct travel segments over 30 days. So for $500, you get to go to 10 different places on Amtrak in 30 days. Brilliant. That means you could transverse the entire U.S. coast to coast through mountain passes and stunning coastlines for basically about $50 a leg. Think about it. Waking up on the train as the train rolls through the snowy capped peaks of Montana, walking into the observation car for some fresh hot coffee, sort of like Destination Brews coffee. However, you won't find this on Amtrak. But Destination Brews coffee, this episode is sponsored by them. Just go to destinationbrews.com and check out what I have to offer on there for coffees and teas from around the world. Plus, I also have merchandise as well. But imagine having a coffee in the observation car there. And knowing that in just a few hours, you're stepping directly off the platform and into a historic brewery mill in Maine, a massive beer garden in Milwaukee, or a radical tap room on Old Route 66 or Route 66 in Arizona. We're covering it all today. The hidden history behind the tracks, the free local sites you can explore near the stations, the absolute cheapest hacker bunkhouses to crash in, and the exact budget breakdown so you can execute this exact trip without breaking the bank. That's what we're talking about. So let's hit the rail, try a few beers along the way. And the beers that I have to try for you today, I am a little limited on those beers today. What the crap? Why is it? I'm a little limited on the beers today. I have not been able to make a trip to Total Wines. But I thought, what better to do today than Sam Adams? It's the day after the 250th anniversary of, or birthday of the United States. So let's get into Sam Adams. Sam Adams, by the way, was born in Boston. He was the founder of the Sons of Liberty. He was also the governor of Massachusetts and helped them write their constitution. And so what better? And I was also a founding father who signed the documents, the Declaration of Independence. So there was one person on. Now I lost him. Some other people are on, waiting to get on. Hold on, I'm just making sure they all know that I'm on now. I'm going to do a tag real quick. All right, there we go. All right, so I have two Sam Adams to try for you today, and I also brought a Busch Light apple just to kind of get through the rest of what I got to do today. And before I got on here, I did a TikTok with a Guinness and this Bubba's burnt sugar whiskey, which if you have not tried this yet, you definitely got to try it. That is really good. Anyway, all right, so Sam Adams, you guys pick. I see two people are on, so you guys pick which one I try first. Ed, yo, 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 daddy, yo. I'll tell you guys a little story here in a minute, but Sam Adams, I got cherry wheat and I got summer ale. Why not do a founding father's, a beer named after a founding father, I should say. So you guys choose which one you want me to try first. Is it cherry wheat or is it summer ale? I love Sam Adams beer. Sam Adams is pretty good. I was attempting to try to find a Sam Adams Boston Lager, but hey, cuz, good to see you. Yo, yo, yo. However, I failed miserably. So anyway, I have these two and I have a Busch Light apple that I'm going to get to today. Cherry, all right. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into this cherry. I'm going to put this Sam Adams. It's pretty hot out here today, or the summer wheat. The cherry wheat. Let's get into the cherry wheat. I got to find my trusty Guinness bottle opener real quick. From the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin. There we go. All right. It's been a while since I've had one of these cherry wheats, but let's check it out. Here we go. Cheers. It smells so good. Just cherry, oak. It's a wheat ale brewed with Michigan cherries. Vanilla. I smell some vanilla in there. Best cherry wheat ale on the planet. 5.3% on the Richter scale, by the way. And if you like cherry flavor, this is definitely bringing the cherry flavor for sure. It says a combination of cherries from the Great Lakes and a touch of honey. That's what I smell, honey, not vanilla. Balances the red fruit character with a slight sweetness, and it does. Adding wheat creates a smooth, light-bodied beer, a delicious treat for any occasion, like America's 250th. Ah, so good. So good. Let's do a hard pour on it. We're just going to pour it all out today. I'm only doing one TikTok today. I already did it, I think. Beautiful looking beer right there. Yeah. If you haven't tried these yet, highly recommend them. Give them a try. Really good. Yeah, I'm going to give that one like an 8. It's a really good wheat ale. All right, we'll put that up there. Now let's grab the summer ale. Oh, excuse me. Excuse them all. All right, now let's get into the Sam Adams Summer Wheat Ale. So, if you missed my lengthy introduction, basically today we're talking about riding the Amtrak around the United States. But we're talking about riding the Amtrak around the United States and getting off at platforms and going to a brewery. And the rule, one of the golden rules is that if the brewery is more than a 10 or 15 minute walk, we're not doing it. So today, every brewery that I'm going to give you is within a 10 to 15 minute walk from the platform. I'm also going to give you a few things that you can do while you're there as well that are more than likely free or cost very little. Also places to stay. I'm going to go through 2 different segments. I'm going to give you 5 of just like a day trip that you can take in these certain areas. And then I'm also going to give you 5 or 4 overnight sleeper trains that you could do out west. And you can sleep on the train, or if you choose to stay a little longer in the city that you visit, I'm also going to give you places to stay for basically a budget backpacker price. So let's get into summer ale. It says bright citrus wheat ale bursting with orange, lemon, lime, and grains of paradise. Perfect for any summer day. Grains of paradise. I do not know what grains of paradise are, but let's get into it. There we go. Cheers. I do get some lemon. I get some lemon zest. Oh, that's delicious. That is delicious. It's almost like a little summer shandy type thing. It gets a really nice beer head on there. A little airy, a little bubbly, but definitely crisp with some body for sure. For sure, the beer head looks really nice. It's settling and down, but look at that beautiful beer. Nice and hazy with some citrusy notes. Oh, that's just a perfect summer ale. This is a perfect summer ale. I'm going to give this one a 9. If you guys haven't tried this one yet, absolutely have to give it a try as I try to fit everything into the trash can in here. All right, we're going to get back into that wheat ale. Here in a few, let's put this away and let's get into the show. Now, let's start with Saco, Maine, which is Amtrak Down Easter Corridor. It's the Amtrak Down Easter Corridor. So the trackside pint here in Saco, Maine is Banded Brewing Company. It's only about a 4-minute walk from the platform. Built inside a beautiful restored 1800s text mill. And a Tex Mill campus. So grab a cheap giant slice of blueberry pie from the Saco Deli while you're there as well. The trackside adventures, what you can do while you're there is walk the scenic footbridge over the Saco River to explore the historic, I don't know why I'm trying to look around there, the historic industrial architecture of the Pepperell Mill campus. Yoshi, hello. Glad to see you on, my friend. Yay, got Ed, Sharon, and Yoshi. Kim's at work. She's been slammed all day, so I don't know if she's going to get on. But we will see who else gets on as well. Did anybody get the tag for at top fans or anything like that? Did anybody get that tag? I'm just curious how Facebook is working these days. But anyway, so now the trackside adventures, walk the scenic footbridge over the Saco River, explore the historic industrial culture like I talked about before. Now, where to stay and the budget. Day trip this stop from a budget hostel base camp in Portland, Maine. $55 a night for a bunk. So there you go. Your daily budget to do this trip is $75 a day. That includes train ticket, 2 pints, and budget eats while you were there. Pretty cool. So remember, these are more of like a day trip type thing. And then the next 4 that I will tell you about will be overnight sleeper trains. These are all on Amtrak. So if you wanted to plan this out, just go to Amtrak, punch in, like say you wanted to do the Downeaster corridor, you put in Downeaster corridor and you look it up. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about is Kalamazoo, Michigan. And this is Amtrak Wolverine Line route. Man, I really love that cherry wheat ale. I ain't gonna lie. Now, the trackside pint here is Bell's Eccentric Cafe. It's a legendary 4-minute walk from the platform, home of Two Hearted Ale, which I've had Two Hearted Ale, really good beer. It's home of Two Hearted Ale, featuring a massive outdoor beer garden for you to experience. Now, trackside adventures in Kalamazoo, Michigan here, which I used to live in Michigan. I actually loved Michigan when I lived there, I'll be honest with you. I really liked it, but you can walk the completely free Kalamazoo Valley Museum right down the street, or explore the vintage brick stone fronts along the Kalamazoo Mall. The Kalamazoo Mall was the first outdoor pedestrian shopping mall in the U.S., which you remember, like, well, when I was a kid anyway, a lot of the malls were like enclosed. We still have a mall like that here in Sebring, which is struggling. A lot of the indoor malls now are struggling. But these new style of malls popped up where it was all outdoors. It was just, configured with outdoor shopping malls. It was basically like a mall without a roof, and it had a bunch of, vegetation and palm trees and things like this. And apparently this one in Kalamazoo was the very first one. So go check that out. Now, where to stay when you're in Kalamazoo, Michigan? The Kalamazoo Red Roof Inn, believe it or not, or local Airbnbs near Western Michigan University keep rooms around $65 a night, which isn't bad. $65 a night. Your daily budget for this route, however, will be about $92 a day. That's lodging split. So, like, split a room between each other. That brings down to like $30, $40 a piece. But that would be a room split, dinner plus pints. So there you go. If you travel with a buddy, or if you travel alone, you just have to spend the $65 a night for the room by yourself. No alert. It got no alert. What the crap? It will only let me tag top fans in live. It won't let me tag all followers like it does on my posts sometimes. Which I made a post about this yesterday, and I'm sure nobody got that post either. So Facebook is trash sometimes, I'll be honest. All right, so number 3 that we're going to talk about is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Amtrak Hiawatha. This is the route, Amtrak Hiawatha. The trackside pint is at Mob Craft Beer or Broken Bat Brewing. Mobcraft is only about a 10-minute walk through the historic industrial Walker's Point neighborhood, which is famous for crowdsourced beer flavors. So, the trackside adventures that you can do here while you are here is take a free, beautiful walk along the Milwaukee River Walk to see the bronze Fonz, Fonzarelli from Happy Days. The bronze Fonz statue, and grab cheap, fresh cheese curds. Cheese curds are awesome at the Milwaukee Public Market. I love cheese curds. If you don't know this, cheese curds are made with basically immature cheddar cheese. It's like the curds that come to the top as they're making the cheddar cheese, and they scoop those curds off and turn them into cheese curds. So they aren't quite as pungent or sharp as a cheddar. They haven't been able to develop that flavor yet. However, it's baby cheddar cheese. In case you didn't know that, I had to look it up. Now, where to stay on a budget? Cream City Hostel. Sounds a bit perverted, but hey, we're going with it. I'll stay at the Cream City Hostel. Or a budget downtown bunk room for $40 a night. Can't beat that, $40 a night. Your daily budget for this route, about $78. That includes hostel, curds, and pint. So you're basically going to live off of cheese curds while you're there. But I highly recommend trying some other things as well. Now the next one, number 4, is St. Paul, Minnesota. And this is on the Amtrak Empire Builder. The trackside pint here is Barrel Theory Beer Company, which is a 9-minute walk through the vibrant, historic Lower Town district of the gorgeous St. Paul's Union Depot. Trackside adventures that you can do here is explore the stunning, cavernous architecture of the 1920s Union Depot itself, and it's totally free. Walk 3 blocks to the beautiful Green Mears Park for local food trucks, so you can get some local food from food trucks. Thank you for the hearts. Totally appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And where to stay on a budget, and your budget here, the Celeste Hotel, which is a converted historic convent with budget single rooms or crash at a local hostel runner. So basically like a local family that runs a hostel there. Thanks for the hearts. I appreciate that. Keep them coming. Daily budget here is about $85. Why? Because food trucks can be a little expensive. So your meals are going to come from food trucks. However, it's a little bit of a cheaper option. Now, you could find some cheaper options there. I'm sure, whether it be a fast food place, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever. I'm sure you could probably find some cheap, disgusting food to eat. I'm just kidding. I had McDonald's last night and I'm regretting it. And it also includes a local stout pint because there in Minnesota, they're known for their stouts and the transit to get there. Now, the next segment talks about overnight sleeper trains. So, anybody ever been on Amtrak? I have not been on Amtrak yet, and I would really like to do an Amtrak trip. But has anybody ever done Amtrak before here in the United States? I love how they throw ads on my videos, and I don't have the members to get the monetization from it. Anyway. Thank you for the hearts. I truly appreciate it. It must be Sharon. It shows only Sharon's on. I think we lost Ed and Yoshi, unless, of course, it doesn't show me up here anymore. Facebook is crazy sometimes. There'll be 4 or 5 people on, and it'll show me one person up here. So, I don't know. But anyway, anybody have any questions so far? Anybody ever taken Amtrak before? I've never taken Amtrak. I would like to take Amtrak. I am probably going to start searching out some of these ticket deals here to do some Amtrak trips. And just stick around platforms for a day or two and then hop back on an Amtrak and keep going somewhere else. I don't know. Oh, Yoshi, you're there. Okay, good. Because it doesn't show me that you're here, up here. Nor here. However, they have boost video in the way. Normally I can see people's bubbles that are on the show right here. But they want me to boost a video, even though they don't boost a video themselves. If you can tell, I'm getting a little frustrated with Facebook lately. So, which as a little side note, I'm going to start using my new vlogging camera that I got. I know, Yoshi, you're probably pretty excited about that. Not really like an expensive camera like you use, my friend, but it's a vlogging camera nevertheless, and it was relatively good price, and it runs in 4K. The only problem is that the camera is going to have to sit like way over there. It's cool because it has a bit of a flip out here so I can see myself in there and make sure I'm in the frame. But it's going to have to sit like way over there so I can get the whole set in, because when I set it where my phone is now, it's just way too close. It cuts everything down. So I'll have to set it probably about 8 feet from me to get the entire set. So, Sharon, never been on Amtrak. I see two people on the top. Oh, you see 2? I see 1. See, Facebook is messing with me. Thanks again for the hearts, man. I really appreciate it. Keep it going. Apparently, all of the interactions like that, the hearts, the likes, and all that stuff sort of boost the algorithm of the live show. So that's really cool. I appreciate it. Also, share the live with your friends and family and on your page. That would be awesome. I would appreciate that as well. All right, let's get into overnight sleepers and the Western line. So we moved from the East Coast, basically. Now we're moving over to the West. Like almost gave one away there. But anyway, the backpacker sleep hack, like I talked about before, for the massive cross-country legs below, skip the incredibly expensive $400 a night private, or $400, not a night, but $400 private roomettes. Instead, book an Amtrak coach seat. They're around $60 to $90. As I said before, these seats are massive, reclining deeply, have leg rests, and offer a ton of leg room as well. Hey, babes, you made it on. Yay. Sleep right in your seat with a cheap travel pillow. You know, the pillows that go around like this. Love the hearts. And use the free observation car during the day to watch the mountains roll past the train, or the train roll past the mountains, I should say. The mountains aren't moving. But anyway, let's talk about Whitefish, Montana. I have never been to Montana, but I hear it's beautiful out there. And this is on the Amtrak Empire Builder line as well, with Mountain Pass view. So trackside pint here in Whitefish, Montana, is the Black Star Brew Pub, and it's only a 3-minute walk from the historic Alpine-style Whitefish Station. So in this area, it all seems like you're in the Alps, in the Alpine, all right? So a 4-minute walk, you can't beat that. Trackside adventures that you can do here: you can walk down the scenic Whitefish River Trail for a gorgeous free alpine hike. Browse the rustic mountain town outfitter shops along Central Avenue as well. Now, where to stay here in Whitefish? Because this is an overnight sleeper train, so you don't really have to stay here. However, if you want to just go there and stay a couple nights and hop back on another train as it comes through in a couple days, then this is your opportunity to do so at the Whitefish Hostel. which is a fantastic, legendary hiker skier bunkhouse located right in the heart of the town. And they only charge you about $45 a night to stay there. That's massive cheap at $45 a night. So pretty awesome. Ah, boo, you're in your meeting, so you have the volume down, so she can't hear me. I'm probably stuck in her bra. Or on the table, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, all right, let's get into number 6. And that is Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington. Amtrak Coast Starlight Terminal. So that is the one that you want to look for. The trackside pint here is Elysian Fields. If you're familiar with Elysian beers, Elysian Brewing Company, etc., this is them. I've had some of their beers. It's only a 5-minute walk from King Street Station, right next to the stadium. So you can get there pretty quick. Trackside Adventures here in Seattle, Washington. Skip the expensive Space Needle because while it's cool, it's pricey. Instead, walk 1 mile north along the waterfront to the iconic Pike Place Market because that's where you really want to be. And you can watch the fish throwing, the fishmongers tossing fish, and catch a free sunset over Puget Sound. Also see the very first Starbucks there. So why not go to the very first Starbucks ever created in the United States? The founding store, Starbucks 1, and get a coffee there. You won't find destination brews there. However, you can find it at destinationbrews.com. And I also have mushroom coffee, by the way. If you're into mushroom coffee, it's got the lion's mane, the Riki mushrooms, all of that stuff. All the good stuff for your brain. But you could check out the first Starbucks. Now, where to stay on a budget here? If you want to stay in the Green Tortoise Hostel. Why? Because it's located right by Pike Place Market. So that's where you want to be. Offering free breakfast and a social kitchen so you can make your own breakfast, your own lunch, your own dinner if you want while you're there. And the best part is they only charge you about $48 a night. Pretty cheap. $48 a night. Anywhere you could stay in the United States for under $50 a night is cheap. It's cheap. Anyway, I don't mind saying cheap in my own country because everything's so expensive these days. Now, your daily budget on this route will cost about $88. That includes the hostel, market, street food, and a couple pints while you're there. So, pretty cool. I have never been out west to some of these places, so definitely I wouldn't mind doing something like this for sure. It would be an amazing opportunity to do something like this and relatively cheap, doing it on Amtrak. And I would just have to figure out how to stay for 2 or 3 days in each spot and then book the next train, for later, because that would be amazing and a really good travel video too, I think. I've done some travel videos mostly on the East Coast of the United States and in Texas and San Antonio. But I've never really done any travel videos on the West Coast or out west anywhere. So it would be amazing to see it. I really wanted to get a travel van or a small RV and do some road tripping and stuff like that. And I've been looking and looking and looking and looking. And I haven't really found anything that was like, oh, I got to get that one yet. So for the price, I'm not looking to spend a whole lot of money. So it's like I got to find something in the $4,000 or $5,000 range, $6,000 range, and that might need a little bit of work or whatever. But anyway, so what better way to do this travel other than going on a train? The next one I'm going to tell you guys about is Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. This is the Amtrak Coast Starlight as well, but it's the Cascades line. It's the Cascades line that you want to do there. Now, the trackside pint is at Wayfinder Beer, which is about a 15-minute walk across the historic Broadway Bridge from Union Station, featuring incredible, and this is for you, Yoshi, showcasing incredible German-style lagers. That's right, way out in Portland, Oregon. We got German-style lagers on the list. Expensive because some moron in the White House making bad decisions. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, Yoshi. I know exactly what you're talking about, unfortunately. But yeah, everything's expensive these days. For sure. All right, now your trackside adventures here in Portland, Oregon, which Portland, Oregon to me seems like a really cool place to go visit. It's not only that, but Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington were like the hub of grunge rock back in the day, right? They brought us bands like all of a sudden I forgot the name. Brought us bands like why am I having such a brain fart right now? Oh, I'll think of it. I'll think of them eventually. I should look them up on here, but then they'll hit me for a copyright violation or something. Give me a famous Seattle grunge band. I know the name of them. The lead singer made committed suicide, unfortunately. Anyway, it brought us a lot of 90s grunge bands. I can't believe I'm just having a total brain fart, like Soundgarden and I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. That's what happens when it's live. I have a brain fart. I can't look it up. I don't have my tablet or anything. Well, I got my other tablet here, but at any rate, Seattle grunge bands and all that stuff. Anyway, it would be cool to go to Portland to check it out. So Trackside Adventures spent hours getting lost inside Powell's City of Books, which is the largest independent bookstore in the world. Grab incredibly cheap, world-class, global street food at the downtown food cart pass. And where to stay on a budget there is the Portland Hostel or the Society Hotel bunk rooms, which will charge you about $42 a night. So really good. Your daily budget for this trip is about $74. That includes the bunk, the food carts, and a pint. Everything includes a pint. So there you have it. And the last one that I got for you is, which we kind of blew through that pretty fast. It's only been about 30 minutes. I'm still trying to think of those bands in the back of my mind while I'm thinking of stuff. But number 8 on the list is Flagstaff, Arizona. I have some family out there that live, I believe, near Flagstaff, Arizona. Sharon, I don't know if you could correct me on that, but I think that they live out there by Flagstaff, Arizona. And this is on the Amtrak Southwest Chief line. And the trackside pint here is Dark Sky Brewing Company or Lumberyard Brewing Company. And now although the Lumberyard is only about a 2-minute walk directly across the street from the historic Stone Station platform. So I believe that I have had a Dark Sky Brewing Company beer on one of my 322 shows. I don't believe I've had a Lumberyard Brewing Company beer, so I can only speak to Dark Sky. And from what I remember, it was a pretty good beer. Now, Trackside Adventures, what you can do around Trackside there is walk the historic neon lit path of the old Route 66 which runs right next to the tracks there. So they have a section of the old Route 66 that's lit up on the street and looks pretty cool. And you could head to Wheeler Park for free community events under the mountain pines. Like lots of times they'll have, bands, musicians, and all that type of stuff in the park there for free. I see Euro in background. You are rich. The dollar is currently performing poorly because an idiot in the White House making bad decisions. Gold and Euro are safe investments. Thank you. Yes, I do have a Euro back here. I do have some Euro back here, Yoshi. I have this Euro and I got this Euro. I am rich. I have 30 Euro. This is a 20 Euro, which is worth about $25 in the US. This is worth about 15. But that's what the Euro looks like if you've never seen a Euro before. And then each Euro, depending on the country they're from, they have their different sort of languages on there and some things that signify the country that they are from. I believe these Euros are from Greece, if I'm not mistaken, because of what is on them.
Dennis, I am so excited to have you back.
I am not sure, actually. I don't remember. I don't recall. But yes, I have some Euro. And I have some other Euro, too. And I have bought, and I have various other things, too, back there as well. Croatian kuna.
But let's start with the obvious thing. We are celebrating America's 250th.
Put it all back there. Yes, they do. Okay, so they do live near Flagstaff. All right, let's get into where to stay and the budget. Where you want to stay at the Grand Canyon International Hostel, just steps from the train station. They offer cheap bunks and it's a fantastic backpacker community for just $38 a night. Like I said, if you get anything under $50 in the United States, that's a great deal to stay the night. Now, your daily budget for this route will be about $72 a day. That's the hostel, a pub dinner, and of course, a local pint. 30 euro, that's 6 kebabs. Greece still has money. Weren't they broke? Just kidding. Yeah, $30 is about 6 kebabs or more. Man, Yoshi, I really miss a kebab. Kim and I found a kebab place in Tampa, and she's never had a kebab before. So I told her that we got to go over there and check it out and get a kebab. Supposedly it's traditional kebab, so we'll see. But we found one over there, and we just got to take a day trip and go over there and check it out and see what it's like. But yeah, that would be awesome. I haven't had a kebab since you and I had a kebab together, I don't think. No, I take that back. I had a kebab when I was in Malta. Yeah, I think I had a kebab when I was in Malta last. But anyway, either way, really miss a kebab. But there you have it. There's some cool train travel here in the United States you can take where you can just get right off the platform, and within 10 or 15 minutes, you can belly up to the bar, have a nice pint from a good brewery or whatever type of drink you would like. You can hit all the little shops around the area. Various other things. Also here in the United States, you also have options if you want to spend the extra money to do like an Uber or a Lyft. They will take you to some other places that you can go see. And I gave you some pretty inexpensive places to stay. So while you're there, if you just want to do that specific trip. So in closing, what is the other money on the wall? South Africa or England? This one, let's see. I have a few different ones up here. Let me just pull them all down and show you, Yoshi, if I don't make a mess here. I will show them all to you, my friend. I have more that obviously I've saved, but so this is Romania. This is Romania. This is $1 in Romanian leu, however they say it. I actually didn't travel to Romania, but a friend of mine, Gabriella, who was watching my dad, was from Romania, and she brought me $1 from there. So pretty cool. This is a Thai baht. This is 100 Thai baht, which equates to about $2.50, $3 US, but it's 100 baht. So there you have it. That's the king of Thailand. This one is from Singapore. This is a $2 bill from Singapore. So there you have it. Singapore, as you can see. I know it's backwards, but bear with me. They have really cool money. This is actually plastic. You can see through it. This one is from when I was in Croatia, I believe. Yeah, this is from Croatia. They are on the Croatian kuna. So there's the kuna. It's a famous figure. I forget who it was, but that is the Pula Arena. And this is 10 Croatian dollars, or kuna, 10 kuna, which is, I believe, just under $1 US. I think when I was in Croatia, it was 16. Well, it's probably less. I think it was 16 kuna for $1 US. This one is from Brazil, which again, I wasn't in Brazil, but a friend of mine sent me this from Brazil. This is 5 reais or reais or whatever, but pretty cool there as well. Romania is so little. What a cutie! It is pretty small compared to, like, look at the size of the Thai and the Romania. It's like so small. This one is from Romania as well, or that was one I already had. This one is, I believe that this is from Slovenia, maybe. I believe this might be from Slovenia. This is 200 kuna. 200 kuna. And again, with the see-through plastic behind it. And then this here is from the Central Bank of the Bahamas. This is from the Bahamas, $10, which, if you didn't know, $10 Bahamian is $10 US. Basically, we are even Steven on the bills. So if you go to Bahamas and it says $80 Bahamian, it's $80 US. So the Bahamians will take US dollar or Bahamian dollar. They don't really care. So there you have it. There's some bills there. I have some other bills and a ton of coins. I don't think I have them here with me in the studio right now, but I do have a bunch of them, and I try to hang them up around everywhere. So I have some money. I'm not completely broke yet. If I were to take these in and trade them in, I'd probably have a little bit of money. So, at any rate, in closing, 250 years ago, this country was built by travelers, explorers, and people who weren't afraid to look at the massive, untamed horizon and say, let's see what's out there, right? You don't need a massive bank account, to see this beautiful country. You don't need a luxury SUV or a pile of heavy luggage or a perfectly manicured itinerary to see the United States. All you need is a backpack, a ticket in your hand, and the willingness to step off the platform into the unknown. The tracks are already laid out for you. The towns are waiting. The locals are ready to share a story. And there is always a cold pint to share with locals just a few paces away from the platform, where you can make great friends, have great conversation, learn about their individual lives, and so much more. And you can do this around the world too. So stop waiting for the perfect time to take that trip. The perfect time is the next departure. Get out there, travel light, drink local, and chase the tracks, because it's cheap. So with that, with that, happy 250th America. Thank you all for pulling up a bar stool with me today on Pint Time. And until next Saturday, cheers. Safe travels, and let's continue to experience this beautiful world together. And now I will open it up for a general discussion about whatever you guys want to chat about. Whatever y'all want to chat about. Thank you for the hearts so much. I truly appreciate all those interactions, as I said before. Apparently help the algorithm, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, travel by train in the United States. I travel by train and bus a lot across the world. In just about every country that I travel to some extent, I used rail or bus, especially in Europe. I remember Thailand, Sri Lanka, you walk around with 100,000 in your wallet, which is only about €100 or so. A pizza costs 2,000 or thereabouts. You completely lose track of how much you're spending because such large figures are hard to keep track of. Yeah, exactly, Yoshi. I totally agree. That's the way I was when I was in Thailand. It was 36 baht for $1. Like when I showed that $100 baht, like I said, that's like $3 US. But the people who live in Thailand make like, I don't know, 5,000 baht a month, which is like $150 to $200 in US dollars. So it's all pretty relevant. Like if you're living in that country, you know, the cost of living compares to whatever that currency is trading at, obviously. So when you go there with another currency that is exceeding the currency of that country, you feel like you're rich. Like here in the United States, I mean, you can blow through $10,000, $15,000 in a matter of months just living here, just paying rent, paying utilities, you know, going out to eat or whatever. I mean, you could blow through that in 4 or 5 months, $10,000, $15,000 in a matter of months just being here. But if you were to go to Thailand, or if you were to go to Laos or Vietnam or even Mexico or Central America, South America, you could live off of that $15,000 for a year, more than likely. So it's all sort of relevant when it comes to the cost of living and the currency in different countries. So, like for Americans to travel to Europe and to the UK now, it's getting pretty expensive. We're actually losing money. Every time we spend money, we're losing money. So it's better off for us to go to other countries or other regions where our money goes the furthest. And that would be like Africa and Southeast Asia and Central America and South America, Eastern Europe, Croatia, Budapest, Romania, places like that. Poland, who's part of the EU but still on their own currency. So, my niece and nephews just got back from Alaska cruise. Oh, I bet that was beautiful. Love you always too, Sharon. I hear those Alaskan cruises are beautiful, for sure. I've never been to Alaska. That's another place I would love to go. Never been there. That is the problem in Thailand. We feel rich there. Thanks to our strong currency, prices are rising due to tourism. Locals can no longer afford anything. Poverty is increasing, and crime and sex tourism are on the rise. Yeah, in certain areas of Thailand, it's getting a little bad. Yeah. I was in Bangkok. I mean, I was in old Bangkok. I maybe saw a little bit of that, but I hung out with a lot of locals that told me about everything, talked to me about everything. And they were all still pretty stable at the time. They sort of chose like what they wanted to get into as far as when it came to the tourists and things like that. So in old Bangkok, I think it's still somewhat cool. I was also in Kamala Beach, Thailand, and it was totally fine there. Phuket, I hear, Pattaya, Chiang Mai is kind of getting overrun now a little bit, but there are a lot of other areas in Thailand that you could go that's not so touristy and hasn't been impacted as much. It's all the places that, it's all the places that people talk about on a regular basis on travel vlogs and various other things that are being impacted some. And if you're into that tourism, you're going to find that type of tourism there for sure. And it's the same pretty much anywhere you go. Like me living in Florida, the biggest tourist areas that people from outside the country come to is Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando for Disney World, and Tampa to a certain extent. So all of those cities in Florida are super expensive for us as Floridians to even go visit and stay. You're talking $250, $350, $400, $500 a night for a freaking room on the beach down there just because of where it is, So, I mean, I guess that could be kind of said about any country that you go to an extent. But yes, there are some places where tourism has impacted those cities a lot more negatively than they had expected. Which, Yoshi, there you go. Speaking of tourism and German tourism, there's downtown Berlin for you. I'm on top of the Berlin Cathedral, and there's the radio tower right there. That's when I visited Berlin. And I messaged Yoshi when I was in Berlin, and he said, "Oh, you should have messaged me when you were in Amsterdam. You were closer to me in Amsterdam than you were to me in Berlin." All right. Crack open this apple. Great deal of damage. Yoshi, I was just thinking about where I traveled that I met like a bunch of German tourists. And I really don't recall a place where I ran into a lot of German tourists. Obviously on the Camino, and I ran into on the Camino, but I ran into other Germans on the Camino as well. Over the years, excuse me. But I'm trying to think where I met a bunch of German tourists at, and I really can't. When I was in Bangkok, I don't remember. Now, I'm not saying they weren't there. I'm just saying I didn't interact with any. I didn't overhear someone speaking German or any of that stuff. But yeah, when I was in Thailand, when I was in Phuket, in Kamala Beach, there were a lot of Aussies there. There were a lot of Australians there, Americans there, Swedes there, where I met Krill and Martin. But I don't recall many Germans being there. The Germans were probably more in like Phuket and Pattaya, if they're out searching for that type of tourism. But Berlin is a own world, totally different than the rest of Germany. Berlin is poor but have a lot of culture. Yeah, that's what I would agree with that, Yoshi. And I think that Berlin, Berlin to me kind of reminded me of what New York would be to us. So you can't judge the United States specifically on, like, say, New York City, Manhattan, the 5 boroughs. You can't really judge the rest of the United States off of that. Same way with Miami. You can't judge all of Florida off of Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Because that's not real Florida. That's tourism Florida. And the same for anywhere else. You can't judge most of California off of San Francisco or LA. Gotta go to cook. See you next week. Bye for now. Take care, everyone. All right, cuz, be careful cooking. Enjoy. Love you too. See you next Saturday. So on a more personal note, I'll be honest with you guys. The last few weeks and even today, and it's been a little bit, I don't know, emotional for me, a little tough on me, per se, because this month marks 1 year that my dad's been gone. July 19th was when he passed. After I finished the show, I came out of the studio and asked Dad what he wanted to eat for dinner, and he was gone. And so it's been a little hard for me over the last couple weeks, just trying to deal with shit mentally over this whole thing. But also, a lot of you probably don't know, but I've also been dealing with the fact that on the 200th anniversary of this country, back in 1976, I was 5 going on 6 years old. And I lost my mother shortly after that as well. So to be alive for the 200th anniversary of the U.S. and the 250th anniversary of the U.S. is pretty cool. But at the same time, it's been bit of a rough road. Like I try to keep things together, you know, try to keep it together. But on the 200th anniversary, I lost my mother when I was 5 going on 6. She passed away late July, early August. And now on the 250th anniversary comes the 1 year anniversary of losing my dad. So I have no parents left, and this is like one of the things that I've been trying to sort of comprehend. And it's been a bit hard on me. I think I suppress a lot, and I just try to go about day by day like nothing's fucking wrong. But I can tell it's affecting me. I can tell it's affecting me. I don't. I've had like zero motivation lately. I just sometimes I get deep in thought and I gotta change my thought process. It's just it's difficult sometimes. So it's like I really want to celebrate the 250, but at the same time it's like shit. I don't know. German retirees are immigrating in Thailand and forming exclusive German small settlements there. The majority of foreigners in Thailand are German retirees. There are also a huge number of Russians in Thailand. Oh, that's interesting. There's a lot of U.S. citizens too, like expats that are moving to Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, as well, because it's so cheap. Well, I don't mean to say that, but it's so inexpensive to go there. There's a lot of Aussies that go there, a lot of retired Aussies that go there to Thailand to stay for the winter months in Australia, and then, you know, when summer comes back, they'll go back. But yeah, I didn't see any Russians or barely any Germans when I was in Thailand. I'm not saying they weren't there. I'm just saying I never met any of them or never overheard them speaking. I met a lot of Americans while I was over there, and Swedes and Australians, but I never really met many Germans or Russians over there. But I believe you that they're there, Yoshi. I'm just saying I didn't see very many when I was over there. I'd like to go back over there at some point, but who knows? We went up to 5, then we went to 3, now we're down to 2. People jumped off for just a second to realize that it was over and then bailed out. Serbia. Okay, he is from Serbia. Speaking of the 250th anniversary, this is my trip that included. This is the Flight 93. The Flight 93 memorial for 9/11. And also Gettysburg. I was wrong, just 31. 31,000. Is that Myanmar? Oh wait, is that how many? But that's a lot in that small country. Oh, so well, that's in Myanmar though. That's not in Thailand. But Myanmar, I don't know that I would move to Myanmar, honestly. But I would move to Thailand or Laos or Vietnam or Cambodia, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it shows 52,400 Americans that live there. 285,000 Laos. The one girl I met when I was in Bangkok, I think her mother was Lao and her dad was Vietnamese, Thai. 104,000 Japanese, 85,000 Chinese, 56,000 Indian. See, I heard a lot about India and the Indians there from India that are causing all kinds of problems in Thailand right now. I've heard about that, and I've seen videos of it too, which is pretty sad. They're just real like aggressive, especially with the Thai girls and women and stuff. It's just a bit, and I'm not saying every person who's from India that goes to Thailand is that way, but I've heard a lot more negativity about about the Indian folks in Thailand than I have heard about any of the other nations that are over there. But it's true. I mean, you go to Thailand and some of those girls or guys have been struggling their whole lives to survive, and they want to latch on to an American or an Aussie or an English person or a German person because they want a better life, So it's, I saw some of that when I was in Thailand. I spoke to some people, some locals about it when I was there. It wasn't as much for the money as it was for just comfort of living that they were out for, and the sad part is that they will put up with absolute shit in order to live a better life in the United States or Germany or Australia than live the way they are in Thailand. Now, that's not every person in Thailand, but some individuals that way. A lot of them who grew up in rural Thailand, out in the muck fields and various other things, that came to the city to become a server, to, find some foreign person from a respectable country where they can, hopefully have a connection and live a wonderful life overseas, and maybe bring their parents or their kids, along with them. But I saw that a lot when I was in Thailand, for sure. Most foreigners are from Myanmar. Oh, okay. So there's 1.7 million in Thailand from Myanmar. I didn't know that. Myanmar. 50,000 Americans, but only 30,000 Germans. Now you can see which nations are migrating to Thailand. 1.7 million from Myanmar. That is crazy. 1.7 million from Myanmar. I mean, they're all from the same region, so it's probably pretty hard to differentiate between Thai, Lao, Vietnamese, Myanmar, Cambodia. That's crazy. 10% of the Thai population are foreigners. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I could move to Thailand, I would. I'd move to Thailand or Vietnam or Laos, or bounce between the three every 90 days or something like that. for a couple reasons. One, the culture there is beautiful. The people there are so nice, so welcoming, such beautiful people. For two, let's face it, our US dollar goes a lot further there than it does here at home. When you're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month for rent, for electric, for Wi-Fi, to go out to eat is $50-$60 a day, to go out and eat, to go to the grocery store, you're looking at $300 and some dollars a day, car payments, insurance payments, I mean, you name it. It is through the roof here in the United States. And like I said, you could go through $10,000 to $17,000 in just a couple months here in the United States, 5-6 months. But that $17,000 in Thailand or Laos or Vietnam or even Central America and Peru or someplace like that, or Ecuador or Paraguay, is like, you could live for a year off of that, if not more. So I see why a lot of, whether it's, backpackers like me, or whether it's expats who retired and are getting $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 a month on their Social Security checks, or whatever. I mean, even when it comes to healthcare, you can go there as an expat in Thailand and get great healthcare insurance for like $30 a month. And here in the United States, it's $85 to several $100s a month. And then on top of that, you got to pay a copay and a percentage and all this other crap. So it's like, part of me doesn't blame people, especially here from the United States, moving to places like Thailand or Laos or Vietnam or Cambodia or Mexico, for that matter, even though, our exchange rate is still pretty decent, or, Central America, Costa Rica, Peru, all those different places, or out to Eastern Europe. I've had friends of mine that I graduated high school with, or I went to high school with, that have moved to Eastern Europe, to Budapest and Croatia and various other countries where our dollar stretches farther. And they move over there, they work remotely, and they love their life, and the older you get in life, the more you realize that the value of your life is far more important than working for the corporate man. The value of your experiences is far better, or you want that more than you want, a $1,600 paycheck every 2 weeks or whatever. You have a different perspective. So I could see why people are doing that. Yeah. 10% of Thai population. So yeah, I don't know. I see why they're doing it. Now in Germany, I get it. Things are expensive in Germany as well. And the euro is pretty strong. The pound is pretty strong. US dollar is weak, but still strong compared to the other two. It's like, it's like the pound, the euro, the dollar, and then everything underneath. Now we might not get great exchange rates in certain areas, but I don't know. I understand it, but also in Germany, you guys get free healthcare, all that stuff, all these vacation days and everything. So it's like, while it can be expensive, you have that afforded to you. Education, healthcare, things that we don't have here in the United States that cost us a lot of money to get. And so for us to like, I read reports, Yoshi, recently that said that the most U.S. citizens in history have left the United States to live abroad under this current period, which makes sense for many reasons. The political climate here in the United States sucks. There's so much division and nastiness and attacking each other and, everything that goes with that. The cost of living has gotten super expensive. Now, while we complain that petrol or gas is super expensive, it's still nothing compared to, say, Europe or any of those other places. However, when you're over in Europe in those places, you have the option of rail, bus, tube, various other options that you can use over there that we don't necessarily have here in rural areas. And the cost of living has like gone through the roof. I mean, to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in an average area, even here in Central Florida, is like $1,500 to $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. So when someone here in Florida is tired of all the bullshit, or in the United States is tired of all the bullshit, they're going to move to a country, number one, where their dollar lasts longer, where they can get healthcare super cheap and good healthcare at that, where the cost of living is less expensive when you can rent a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in Thailand or Laos or Southeast Asia, we'll just say, for anywhere between $300 to $500 a month, as opposed to $1,700 a month. And not only that, but it includes an infinity pool, a gym, and various other things. It's like, why would you not move there? Why would you not move there? So, I get it. I understand. Pound is weak like the dollar. 1 pound is or €1 is 80-cent pound. So the euro is performing more larger than the pound. Because see, when I was traveling, I lost more to the pound than I did to the euro. I lost about 25 cents to the euro. I lost about 30 cents to the pound.
This isn't just a game.
So I see that has flipped. Free healthcare contributes significantly to prosperity and economic growth. This has been proven. Why do Americans not have free healthcare? Because Americans have been brainwashed into believing that if we have the rich people pay for the healthcare, that the rich people will stop hiring people for jobs, and that's just not the case. It's just a matter of the rich people not wanting to give up some of their wealth. Way back, not even that far back, in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, even into the 50s, 60s, the wealth gap was not like what it is now in the United States. Not even close. I believe in the 1950s, 40s and 50s, there was a 60 to 70% tax on the wealthy. So, but the wealthy still were wealthy compared to other people. But those taxes help build our interstates, help create Social Security, help create Medicare, help create Medicaid, many other different programs that were created based off of that tax bracket. So you have someone like Carnegie or whoever who built railroads and oil companies and everything else. We're getting charged a 70 to 80% tax rate. And I think that might be a little excessive, obviously, but still, you're making millions of dollars rather than billions of dollars. And if you can't live off of millions of dollars in today's society, then that's your fault. You're spending money that you shouldn't be spending just because you want the lap of luxury type thing. You know what I mean? And the people back then still had the luxury. They still stayed on their own private islands. They still had their own hotels and all of that stuff. They just didn't have as much liquidity as the wealthy people today do in the United States. Not only that, but we've created in the United States over the years with different legislation and various other things, we've created the ability for wealthy people to hide their wealth. You know, whether it's like Elon Musk, for instance, the richest man in the world, his bank account probably has $100,000 in it, but everything else is in assets. And those assets can't be touched, basically, unless it's by him. So we're talking stocks and we're talking, whatever. And those things are part of their wealth, yes, but it's not immediate wealth. They can't cash that out immediately and buy something with it. So most of our wealthy people do here in the United States is they invest that wealth, they put that wealth in other areas, and then they only have a certain amount of liquidity. And when I say liquidity, I mean like cash that you can go to an ATM and pull cash out. So Elon Musk might have $100,000 in his bank account every time, but he's worth like $1.5 trillion, and all of that is in subsidies. Basically, it's in other arenas, whether it be SpaceX or Tesla or whatever, and that's assets that he can get to eventually, but not immediately. And those assets, unfortunately, aren't taxable more often than not because of some of the legislation that we've put in place over the years. So if the entire economy came crashing down and all of their businesses folded, in a sense, they would have nothing. But they live off of credit. This is how much I'm worth. I'm worth $1.7 trillion. And they go to a bank and they say, I need a loan to buy this $3 million house. And the bank says, okay, fine, you're worth 1.7 trillion. We'll give it to you. Whereas me, hey, you're worth $20,000, $30,000. We're not going to give you that house. Even though mine is liquid, it's liquid cash right there, available to me at any point. So it's all a big scam right now in the United States, and which has led the wealth gap in the United States to be exponentially different than what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. Speaking of, this is me in Bangkok, eating fried maggots with locals in a food stall in an alley somewhere. But anyway, yeah, it's an interesting thing here in the United States, for sure. And so I don't blame expats from the United States going to other countries at this point where their dollar goes further than it does here at home. Especially when it comes to insurance, cost of living, food, rent, mortgages, etc., etc. I don't really blame them, because I would do the same. I would be doing the same. Yeah, it's really interesting, Yoshi, to say the least. I know I've been talking to Kim a couple times about getting the hell out of here, but it's super expensive to live here. We'll just say that. It's super expensive to live here. Yeah, when you're paying $700 to $1,700 a month in rent and $150 to $200 for electric, $80 to $120 for Wi-Fi, you know, just basic necessities. And then with the inflation and cost of living going up too, you can't go out to eat for less than $50, $60 every time you go out to eat. And that even includes fast food places like McDonald's or Arby's or whatever. I mean, you go out there and you're spending $30, $40, $50 just to grab meals for everybody at home. It gets expensive, man. It's super expensive. So it's, like I tell people all the time, it's more expensive to live here, to stay here in the United States than it is to travel. When you're spending $20 to $65 a day traveling around the world, you know, like, for instance, I had $41,000 when I started traveling in 2016. And that money lasted me 3 years. When I cashed out everything I had, and put everything in my storage unit and started to travel like this on my very first Camino, I had $41,000 to my name. And I lived for 3 years traveling the world like that, and part of the United States, but mostly traveling the world like that on $41,000 for 3 years. So that's like what, $13,000, $14,000 a year for me to travel the world. I can go through $10,000 to $17,000 here in 6 months in the United States. So it's crazy, brother. I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy. It's hot too. Anyway, anybody got anything else? Anything anybody wants to chat about? So to follow up, today's episode 322 was about 8 ultimate trackside breweries, basically where you could travel Amtrak here in the United States on a budget for anywhere between, we'll say, $60 to $80 a day. And all of these places you can get off of the platform within a 10 or 15 minute walk and go to a local brewery and have a pint. Not only that, but you could visit a lot of other things that are right around the platform there, whether it's beautiful downtown shopping areas or parks or bridges or historical museums and things like that. So if you're coming in at the end, just watch the beginning and you will get all of that. So anyway. All right. If nobody else has anything else to talk about, which, by the way, I got to throw in my shameless plug again as I'm trying to make money to travel. But you can visit destinationbrews.com, and you can get amazing coffees from around the world, like this Asian Plateau, which is a blend of Asian coffees into one. And I also have mushroom coffees with the lion's mane mushroom, cordyceps mushroom, and also the reishi mushrooms, which are all good for your brain health. So visit destinationbrews.com. Also, all of my coffees come with this small little hole here that you can squeeze and smell the coffee before you drink it. So check out destinationbrews.com. I have all kinds of single origin teas and coffees from around the world, and the coffee is, like I said, single origin coffee, so it's not like your Maxwell House or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. Also, with the tariffs that we're dealing with here in the United States, again, the coffee is a little bit more expensive. However, my prices fall right in line with the single origin coffee brews that are sold right here in the United States. So my roasters, one of them being the Chicago Coffee Company, which is one of the oldest coffee companies and roasters in the United States, roasts my coffee. They order the beans in from around the world and then at raw, and then they roast them in-house. So all of my beans are roasted here in the United States and then shipped out accordingly. So there you go. GG, love how your merch looks. Ah, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Pretty cool, huh? It's got a pretty cool logo, I must say. Yoshi, I think you helped me with that logo as well. So, all right, Yoshi. Hey, by the way, Yoshi, before you leave, don't forget House of Dragons, man. House of Dragons is on tomorrow. However, hopefully we can watch it Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, we will figure that out. I'm super excited to see episode 3. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on another episode of Pint Time, episode 322, some ultimate trackside breweries and trips on Amtrak. Thank you guys so much. And as always, peace, love, and let's continue to experience this beautiful world together. I'll see you guys next time on Pint Time with Backpacker Mike. Peace.